it to him all the time. You know he no good for you, but he's just good at that. You want to be there. I just love him. I don't care if he's bad, poopy bad, he go to jail all the time. I just want him back. That's just how y'all are. Y'all gonna keep him because he's good at what he do. That's overindulgent, you know. Overindulgent. You get irresponsible too. That gets irresponsible. What's that? Let me shoot it down with the lady. Irresponsible, carelessness, inconsistency, fickle, unreliable, jealous, depressed, impulsive, wasteful, vain, moody, critical, overextended. Now this is just the negative that you can constantly go. Some of y'all went beyond that. Some of y'all not good. Also, number 5 is connected to Mercury. You gotta be careful with the Mercury, especially Mercury retrograde.
Yes.
When it appears to be reversed, when the planet Mercury appears to be reversed, going in an opposite direction, so those type of things, when we go through Mercury retrograde doing different months, you got to be careful of your communication, you got to be careful of computers, of all your stuff. Well, we're in the number 23 day, and this is the 23rd, and it's a 5, Mercury. You never know what can happen with technology today also, you know, but. And you're 32, don't worry about it, girl. You'll be all right. You're going to be all right. You'll be all right. She's a huh? She's 32 today, but that's a 5. 3 plus 2 is 5. That's what she's finding out. Bang. But yesterday was her birthday. But she's a 32. Yeah, she's 32 today. But the greater you, as a number 5, all you number 5, this is your greatness right here. Adventurous, dramatic, exciting, flamboyant, sensual, passionate, intelligent, flexible, versatile, change, adaptable, mental curiosity, free thinking. Y'all love to think free. Y'all love that stuff, man. Creative, inventive, humorous. Very important that we understand that. Now, let me tell you something. People like Donald Trump is a number 5. People like Ralph Lauren and Quincy Jones are number 5. You know what I'm saying? Just going in there. Those are some people. Those are crazy people out there. But he does what he got to do. And look how much property Donald Trump has lost, and he still got money. He's always bankrupt. But how does he always come out of that? Those are crises that number 5 always know how to get the heck out of. Those are crises. Bang, let me go to number 6. We just talked about little 6. Write it down, girl, write it down. Get your 6 going. We got Earthside, number 6. Going on the 6th, the 15th, and the 24th of the month. Anybody going on the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th of the month? Hey, happy birthday when it comes. Yeah, that's 24. Whoever born on that ain't here. All right. The lesser you. Irresponsibility. We don't want irresponsible. Cynical. Jealous. Worrying. Wasteful. Meddling. Nagging. Stifling. Selfish. Self-righteous, unwilling to serve, because 6 is a number that needs to serve people. And you got to avoid all of this. Try to avoid. That's why I say you got to master your strengths and then manage your weaknesses. These are your weaknesses that you have to stay away and start to enhance the strengths. Service-orientated, peacemaker, unselfish, charming, sympathetic, home-loving, spiritual, intelligent, justice, artistic, persuasive, creative, truthful, harmony, counselor, sensual, magnetic, love, because number 6, love. They love being around beautiful people. Justice, that's the balance. 6 is the middle number of all the numbers. That's the balance, that's the ma'at. That's what it's all about with that number 6. You gotta take a picture, we in it, baby, we in it. Go ahead. People born on the number 6 is Sylvester Stallone, people like Stephen Jobs, and Derek Luke, actors like him. But they, you gotta understand that 6 dynamic. Now, shameless plug, no, that's my book. Keep it moving. We here with the number 7. Number 7, like, Lloyd, you born on the 25th. Those who born on the 7th or the 16th of the month. Where you at? Wow, I'm surprised a lot. I bet a lot of y'all got some 7 numbers in y'all, because for y'all to come to a metaphysics lecture or dinner like this, y'all have to have at least some more 7s in. You might have a destiny number or a life path of 7 or whatever. You might have that. Like the young lady has an achievement number or alignment number as a number 7 because she's born on the 15th of October. That 1 from the October to 10, add to that 6, so the 15 makes it to 7. We got you with that, so that's good. That's she's here, so you never know. Bang, with these number 7, secretive. Woo, they can keep a secret. That's that water energy that keep a secret, boy. Keep a secret. They can connect it to Cancer. You know Cancer can keep some secrets, and Pisces now. Very most secretive signs in the zodiac. You gotta be careful with them. They're kind of crazy. Now, some they feel lonely. Sometimes they feel lonely. Sometimes critical of self. Those 7 energies. Depressed, they get moody. I knew a 7 that checked herself into a mental institution because of what she's going through. And I know 7s, if they're not taught positive and maintain a positive outlook about themselves, they go crazy about things. They get more moody and get depressed. Shy, slow-moving, cold, insecure, fearful, over-analytical of themselves. Over-analytical, sometimes standoffish. They always say that the 7 might people don't stand over. When they're not, they're really very loving people. But they just seem like they stand over. And also devious. These are the negatives you got to be careful of. I'm telling you right now, I'm serious. You have to know that. But that's the African, yes. The greater you is the spiritual, mystical, quiet, intuitive, philosophical, thoughtful, intelligent, analytical, healer, introspective, artistic, psychic, sympathetic, trusting teachers. People like Phil Valentine, born on October 16. Booker T. Coleman, Kaba Hiawatha Kamene, born November 16. Lloyd, born on the 25th, the 16th of February. These people are not only they're spiritual, mystic, very quiet, intuitive people. And that's that water energy that's commanding all of that. Very intuitive people. All the way through. Even people that was born on, like Will Smith, born on September 25th. And people like, what's his name? Prince. Prince is born June the 7th. So Aton Edwards, born June the 7th. Now you see, with Prince, he has a very great mystique about himself. You don't really catch him in too much scandals like people would think he was. Everybody thought he was a freak, he's this, he's that. Prince is just Prince. He's a Gemini. Lord, you know what that means. He's all crazy with it. He's crazy with it.
Twin signs.
Yes, they're twin signs, and they're either going this way or that way. You don't know how they're coming, but they come. But yeah, yin and yang, you might have more women in his house than he is. Now you're Jehovah's Witness. You don't know what are you doing. He's just something else. Prince crazy. 8th, if you're born on the 8th of the month, 17th, or the 26th of the month. Anybody born on the 8th? I see February 8th. What 8th you born on, the brothers?
March 8th.
March 8th, yeah, that's that money number. That's the money power number. Earth, y'all need to buy property. You always should think about buying property. And learn how to invest your money because y'all lose money quick, but you'll always make money but money seems to slip through your hands. Y'all have to master money from a spiritual and physical perspective. Learn how to save at least 8% of your money. At least 8% of your money, please. And that's how you will help build income and then learn how to invest that money. With the 8, bullies. Woo! 8, y'all something else. Rebellious. Oh, I can tell they mama be saying something about it. Anger issue. Boy, when I get into an argument with an 8, they turn it up. They turn up with an 8. Money issues. It comes and goes because y'all ain't learned to control it and learn how to master it. Money has its energy also. That's why they call it currency.
That's right.
Gold, silver is the real money. Those natural elements that they just showed on there, those are real money. All these are real money. They're going to have to trade these stones one day. I got copper and silver in my pocket all the time. Just in case the dollar gets thrown out, I got some silver, red, and gold. That's in my grab and go bag. We'll talk about disasters later. Greedy. This is a negative of you. That's the letter. Power hungry, vain, dictatorial. That's right. Depressed, scheming, oppressive, unscrupulous, and egotistical. That's the lesser you if that's what you choose to go down, and that will hinder you from making it in life. But you got some 8s out there that's doing their craziness right now. Lauryn Hill is a beautiful person. But Robert Kiyosaki, he's doing his thing with his 8. He's born April 8th. Lauryn Hill is born May 26th. And the one, the only Madonna. Muhammad Ali is born January 17th. Muhammad Ali born January 17th. Did great things with that brother. And he was one of the greatest fighters too. Most of the great fighters are born under the earth signs and then the water signs. And again, it goes to the fire signs. But yet, as far as in the history of our black fighters, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Moses Powell, these are people that Khalid Muhammad was a fighter. Historians, great historians like Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark and people like that. Those were great historians under the Capricorn energy, which is, I say Capricorn because that's an 8. Capricorn is connected to 8, and that 8 energy is always right there, that old school energy, because Capricorn, 8 deals with an old school kind of energy. Also, your greater you is authoritative, executive abilities. organized, practical, fame, power, charitable, wise, leadership, spiritual, constant supply, always in constant supply, humanitarian, helpful, ambitious, successful, power to succeed, and courageous. So 8, y'all gotta stay on that 8. Not 8, and you will do a lot of stuff. You really will never be broke. Never be broke. I have an 8 life path. But my birthday adds up to an 8, so that's my life path, 8. So I love the 8. 8 is up, but it can bring you some drama though. Bang. Stop playing. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong thing. There you go. Bang. All right, guys. Number 9. That's the 5. Anybody born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th? Raise your hand. 9, 18, 27. Yes, yes, Lord have mercy. Yes, you want it. August 18, right? Correct? All right. I remember you just told me that. Boom. Impulsive. Argumentative. Don't get into it, girl. Combative. That's that war, that Mars energy. You want to fight, you want to go down. I suggest put her in martial arts, go into martial arts. I suggest every 8, 9 get into martial arts, at least learn how to control that combativeness, that argumentative impulse and all that kind of stuff. Control that. Self-pity, this is all negative now. Heartless, narrow-minded, emotional, selfish, aimless, controlling, wastefulness, and bitter. Bitter like woodroot tonic. Bitter. That's a nasty bitter. Bitter. Bitter is that Jamaica. Bitter. But your greatest great is you. The great in you. I forgot to put you. That's all right. Intelligent, humanitarian, courageous, resourceful, spiritual, adventurous, exciting, inspirational, creative, wise, giving, emotional, loving, passionate, psychic, philosophical, selfless, universal, and generosity. Now, with the 9, they're very intuitive. 9s, those 7s, those 2s, that's the 9 from a fire perspective, very intuitive. If they pay attention to their gut feeling, they make a lot, they do a lot, especially from a humanitarian perspective and a universal perspective. 9s are very much like that. And that's the last number on the screen, I mean on the charts as far as the number line. But we're gonna go to some master numbers. Those born on the 11th. See, I know you said 2, but no, 1 plus 1 equals 2. We're really not supposed to convert the master numbers to the lesser of the number, but being that some of us wasn't guided, those that are born on the 22nd, on the 11th, if you wasn't guided by your parents and you was always put down by your parents and you never understood why that master number is you will fall to your lesser self, which would be the 2. And you'd have to reside on that emotional 2 and all that kind of stuff. You'd have to deal with that. That's why, and that converts to a water energy, which really 11 is an air number. And if not guided correctly, that's when it converts to that number 2 energy. But as the lesser you of the number 11, indecisive, lack understanding, aimless, shiftless, dishonest, degrading, cruel, deceptive, petty, insincere, bad temper, and careless. Now you can go down that road. But it ain't gonna help you that much. Just let y'all know that. But you're great in you. Inventive, intuitive, spiritual, persuasive, peacemaker, considerate, team worker, revealer of truth, bring things to light, poetic, artistic, idealistic, mastery. A perfect example of a number 11 is Mr. Farrakhan, born on May the 11th. Then you had Kelly Rowland, born on February 11th. Then you have Mary J. Blige, born on January the 11th. See, these things just let me know about them from different angles, and it helps me to understand people from a different angle, especially artists. When you want to read an artist and you want to see what they're going through, you can read it. You can find out to the very day of what they're going through if you understand numerology and astrology. Really. People like Ann Pooh does it, people like Cosmophysics, Ra Kumar, they do their thing, they do it all the time. Boom, here we go with the 22s. Anybody born on the 22nd of the month? Master number. That's why you do what you do, huh, sister? Very spiritual, highly spiritual. 2 plus 2 equals 4, which still remains on the air number, which is Aquarian. So you're always on that Uranus level. You're always now walking in that Aquarian energy, especially now that we're going into Aquarius for the next 2,500 years. That's our vibe for the next, for Aquarius, this is our vibe for the next 2,500 years coming up. So get ready. Now the lesser you is insensitive, can be criminal, indifferent, schemer, vicious, inferiority complex, and crude. But, bang, the greater you is the powerful, the practical, practical ideals, the wide reach that you have, the universal reach, the master builder that you are, uplifting, international, enduring, and organizer. People like Shaggy, my reggae artist friend, we went to Erasmus together, born October 22nd. People like Beanie Man, another reggae artist friend, born on August 22nd. People like Sam Cooke, born on the 22nd of January. All great people doing great things in the genre of music, master builders and had universal appeal. From the reggae to the R&B to what Sam Cooke used, they had universal appeal. And there's much more once you just you can Google up people's name and all that kind of stuff. That's why I always say, remember, I heard it, with great power comes great responsibility. Right. And those born on these master numbers have to realize it. When you got this kind of great power, great responsibility, you can't just become your negative side. You can't be that. That's the responsibility. This is your responsibility. This is what you're supposed to strive to be like. Very important. So, we are composed of all these elements. Earth, fire, water, and air. So remember, the two greatest days in your life. It's the day you were born and the day you find out why you were born. And numerology can help you with that. You have to ask yourself these questions. Why we were born? Why were each one of you born on Earth? Was it just to work for the Europeans? Work for somebody else for the rest of your life on this constant treadmill with a hamster acting like that? What are your talents? And numerology, astrology, and all these ancient science, palmistry can bring this out of you if you really understand, and it will bring you to this. Self-mastery. That's what it will bring you to. Learning how to master yourself. Learning how to discipline yourself. Now, I'm not the greatest myself, and I'm still growing, but I might grow in my later age. Some people get it in their younger age. I get it in my older age when I learn my destiny number. I learn as an 8 deal with that old time stuff. And getting in my older age, as I get to 50, all this stuff shall start accumulating more because I learned from my lessons of my life through the 30s and 20s. So that's important. Also, we got to salute this big brother because he's coming up next. This is my brother here. Give him a round of applause. Brother Lloyd Strayhorn. You got to give him a round. Oh, yeah. Got to salute. He does a class over there at the Tamarine Temple every Sunday from 10 to noon. And that's my brother. He's coming up. And once again, give him a round of applause. You know the deal. You know the deal. Thank you for support. Kickstarter Production. Don't forget, my Mountain Conference is coming up. And don't forget, we got the contest of appreciation. Give us a round of applause. Give him a round of applause. Very much. Why are you laughing, brother? You know I got you, bro. You know I got you.
I love Simon, but I don't like Simon. I have certain issues with the brother. And one of them is the height. It's like, wow. I take it with me everywhere I go. I don't know where I got my bashfulness from, but anyway, I'm going to do something I've never done before.
I'm going to switch that right now.
I want to thank Simon. I want to thank Monique and Joel and Nicholas Brooks for me doing a first. Everybody knows me to do numerology. But one of my other passions is palmistry. And so we're going to do a lesson about the hands. Now, it's interesting. Just like numbers, we take our hands for granted. You want to scratch an itch. You want to grab a cup of water. You want to caress somebody. You want to hold something. We don't even think about it. We don't even have to tell the hand, now hand, I'm going to reach over here and you're going to go over there and get it. We just do it. And just like our face, we have, although we all have a, let's get the throwing dots, but anyway, although we all have a nose, a mouth, and eyes, if you look at each other and look at each other's face, yes, we all got the main features, but we don't look alike. And neither do the hands of a person too. And it's called the PowerPoint. So this is a first for me. But anyway, I'm going to show you, and then you're going to look at your own hands. Find out about yourselves too.
Which one, brother? The hands right there? That one?
I think so, yes.
Right.
I hope that is. It's about 8 minutes?
Yes, got it. You're not going to start it. You're not starting it yet, right?
Okay, no.
Okay.
Right,
Okay.
sorry about that. Okay,
Hold on.
The reason why I like palmistry is you can tell a lot about a person just looking at their hands. We take our hands for granted unless you have missing limbs. But people think we have 10 fingers. You don't. You have actually 8 fingers and a very special 2 called thumbs. They're totally different. Now, for the elders who were born, they would tell you what they used to do in the old days is when a baby was born, they actually pull the baby up by the thumbs to determine the strength or lack of strength. They don't do none of that. That's the old stuff. All right? Because the way the hand is divided is it's actually like looking at a horoscope. The first finger here is the mouth of Jupiter. This is your Jupiter finger, your first finger. It's called the dictator finger. So when your parents are cursing you out and they say, didn't I tell you not to do that? They don't tell you to with this hand, this finger. They don't tell you with that finger, this finger. When they're giving directions, they're pointing in with the first hand. That's the Jupiter finger. This finger here is the Saturn. Normally that's the longest finger on the hand. If you look at your hands, everybody will have different lengths. Some people's fingers will be longer than others, shorter than others. All right, then the one underneath here, the third finger, this is your ring finger or the sun. And the sun is ruled by the element of gold. And when they put a ring on the finger, what they put the gold ring on this finger. They don't put it on this finger, that finger, that finger. Okay? Nowadays, people wear rings on every finger, but that's another thing. I'm just saying traditionally. Okay? The last one over here, the pinky, is Mercury. That deals with your money and your memory, your science, and your business. Then this hand here, this is your Venus that denotes your passion. So people are thinking you got a wide Venus, you're passionate in the bedroom. Not necessarily so, but I mean you could be passionate about life, passionate about your career, or whatever the case may be. Then over on this side is the moon. So when you're looking at your hand, I'm looking at a horoscope. And that's why I can tell you a lot about yourself, even if I didn't know your zodiac sign or whatever. And then you have the lifeline. The line that goes, they're primary lines. There are 3 lines like 3 major parts of the face, the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. The one that goes around the ball of your thumb, that's your lifeline. That tells me how well you take care of your metabolism, your vitality, things of that nature. Then there's a line that goes in the center. That's your headline. Of all the lines, that's what I tell my clients to watch for. Because the headline denotes your mindset of the person in front of you. So all you can look normal. But some of y'all may not be wrapped too tight. You know what I'm saying? So that's why Napoleon, the famous general, says the face can deceive, which means we can put on makeup, appearance, get haircuts. When you open that hand, that's it. And what they see is what they get. Okay? And then the line that's going underneath your fingers, those are called the heart line. Okay? To give you points of reference, the headline is always divided by 35. In palmistry, they measure time by 70 years. So anything below the headline is under 35. If you're under 35, I'm looking from the headline below. If you're above 35, I'm going to look from the headline up. Okay? That tells you. Now, the bottom part of the hand represents the physical world. The upper part of the hand represents the mental world. All right? So the heart line means how you relate to people mentally, how you love them. Okay? Not just physically. All right? So this is why there'll be a difference of a woman or a guy that gets married in his 20s, under 35 in the physical world, because the sex was good. Versus if he's now 40, 50, and now he's getting married for a whole nother reason. You see what I'm saying? So that's how we learn from experience of things. Alrighty? Then also, look at the fingers. If you look, there are always 3 divisions of fingers. The first row is the mental row. The second row is the material row, the practical, and the third is the material. So all you gotta do is look at your hand, and you can see which one is longer. Some of you will have a longer first phalange, as it's called, which means you're more mental. Then some of you will have a second longer phalange. I think my second one is the longest, meaning more practical. I'm very practical, gotta make sense to me. And then I'm gonna show you a hand of a famous celebrity where down on the bottom row is real thick, which means they just love material things, luxury, all this other stuff. And your thumb is broken into the will and the logic. Will, logic, and love. That's the passion. But this is the logic. They should be ideally even. Sometimes there will be differences. Everybody's different. Like, oh, you got a nose, you got a mouth, you got eyes, but they're not shaped the same. So it is with palmistry. Can I get the next one? Show you. Now, then you have certain size people. Finger lengths. That's a long length fingers. How many of y'all think you've got long fingers? Some of you will, some of you won't, right? Long fingered people are more detailed. Let's say you're going on an interview with you, and I see you got long fingers. I can't talk in no general talk. I could, but I may not get the interview. You know what I'm saying? Long people are more like analytical about things and stuff of that nature. Then I want to show you one of my own. This is from a book, but I want to show you one of my own clients next. Papa God, it does 5 minutes, okay? That's a client of mine. See how long his fingers are? Not only that, but there are what are called joints. In palmistry, they call them knots. The ladies don't like that term, I notice. So they are joints. And what happens is when the hands are very slender like that, it means the impulse tends to go very fast. And as you get older, you notice that people will have these knots or bulges as a result of life's experience. In other words, you know how they say you're young, you were all hot-tempered, now that you grew up, you kind of cool down a little bit? Because life's experience has done these for you. Okay, so I guess show you the next one. And always look for the thumb. The thumb should always be well developed. Now that's the opposite of a short-fingered person right there. Okay, and then in fact, if you do the next one, Simon, you can let it run for 5 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, just let it run a second. So now this was a celebrity person at BLS that I read. And his fingers are short. Now let me tell you about short-fingered people. When you talk to a short-fingered person and they ask a question, it ain't about beating around the bush. But once upon a time, back in the day, yes or no, honey, okay? Let us get right to it, all right? Now, if they got some time, then they'll let you explain things. But basically, as a rule, this is how you can tell how to deal with people. Longer-fingered people, you gotta get into more specifics. Short people, just get right to the point. Thank you. Next time. Now this is another short-fingered person, people with a very large thumb. Your thumb denotes your will. You can have a desire that if you have what is called a not well-developed thumb, then how do you have the will to carry it out? Right there, the thumb. Now, you can see that his is about even. The will is up there, the logic. The logic gives you that reasoning power, but it's the will that then gives you the will to actually carry it out. That's where the difference comes in, all righty? Okay, can you do the next one, Simon? That's his right hand. Because oftentimes there should be changes in both hands. The right hand is what you develop for yourself. The left hand is what you inherit from your parents, okay? So I read a person who had an island on the headline, which is normally not good. So I asked the person, did one of your relatives go through mental changes? And they said yes, but these are all things in palmistry. This is just an an introduction. If this goes over well, I'd like to do something in more detail. Simon? Now, see this person, they have a long first phalange up there. So that means they're very mental. To me, the second phalange is about as long too. But it tells me when you're dealing with a person who has their phalanges like real long at the top, you got to deal with them mentally. You know what I'm saying? It ain't not like, take off your clothes, but excuse me, do I know you? You know what I mean? Excuse me. You don't do it like that. Maybe down here, the person have real thick on the bottom, and that's not to say guys are taking advantage. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying how to understand things. Now, if the person has the second lobe longest, that means they're very pragmatic. You know what I'm saying? I ain't giving you all my money. And I ain't going to no casino and giving all my money either. You know what I'm saying? Okay, next one. Now, this is with a short one. The first one is short. And his thumb is short, too. And his thumb is close. The thumb should always kind of stand out and apart. Not at a wide angle, but kind of naturally and apart. Then you're going to have some people that are very close. That means they're very close. And they're clingers, too. When they get a hold of something, they're going to keep it. All right, next. Now, this is the result. See the bulges on the first one? Then some people have bulges on the first one and the second one. And the more bulges it is, the more when you're looking at a person's hands like that, they don't expect them to make a decision right on the spot. Especially if you got slender fingers. Smooth fingers tend to do things quickly without thinking about it, which is good and sometimes not so good. But when you got a person like that, they go the opposite way. They want some detail. They want specificity. What do you mean you want me to invest? What am I getting out of it? So it all depends on how you got to do it. Next time. Thanks. I got some interesting hands to show you too. Now this is smooth fingers. So I know she would be more impulsive. And it's not bad. It's understanding your nature so you know how to approach things in a situation. That's like saying, oh, I should have jointed fingers. Well, if you don't, take advantage that knowing if you got smooth fingers, you know that in major decisions, I'm talking about going to a movie, hanging out, but in major decision consequences, you know that you can't just rush into something. So you can take advantage of things like that. Next time. Now that's a pointed finger. That's almost like a psychic hand. See how long it is? Not only very long, but very slender. So that tells me this would be a person that would definitely do things on impulse, do things without thinking, will say one thing and mean it at the point of saying it, but then carrying it out will be a totally different thing. Next, Simon. Thanks. Now we're going to talk about the nails. And ladies, I know y'all have your, what you call them, manicures?
Yes,
the pedicure, right?
One
Yes, that's right. Thank you, darling. Get this brother straight up in here. See, even she knows it's a manicure, brother. Okay? Well, your nails mean a lot, too. It's an interesting, let me tell you this, ladies. When I, as a guy, look at nails and say, you got nice nails, I noticed that women will look at their nails and say, oh, I haven't gotten them done. But understand things, ladies. Men are not trained like women to look at nails the way y'all do. You say, I know that needs a touch-up. See, that's how you women would do that. But for us, it's like, wow, nice nails. But for women, because y'all know about nails and tricking it out and linking it and all the things y'all do. So, and that's just nails, okay? So, but the nails are very important. When the nails are long, it indicates areas affecting the upper part of the body, the chest, the lungs, and the throat. When the nails are short, where's Brother Ray? Brother Ray. He's had short nails. His means more, and by the way, longer nails are more open. They're more, their disposition is kind of, shall we say, open and accepted, I would use that term. But when the fingers are short, it indicates people who see the floor. So I know that if I was with him, or a person with short nails, and I'm looking to find flaws or faults or things like that, I get a short nail person. Now the shorter nails deals with the heart and your circulation and the trunk. So the rule is that the longer nails normally move your chest, your lungs. So if you ladies got longer nails, in the winter you should be in scarves and turtlenecks. But if you have short nails, it means that every now and then you should check the heart, the diet, or constipation because it moves the trunks. Okay, so let me show you some nails. And nails come in different shapes. This is a square nail, which means the nails are more squarish. And when you have squarish types of nails, it means you're more practical in your dealings with people. Okay? Next, Simon. Now, these are broader nails. These are people who are more wider ranging in terms of looking at things in greater detail. And see how well developed the thumb is? But the thumb looks close though. All right, go ahead, next, Simon. And now, these are nails that are what are called spatula nails. And you can always tell because they'll be wider at the top and narrower at the base. And normally that denotes persons who like a lot of action and adventure. Okay? Go ahead. And this is a short nail person, which means that if they see they will actually spot something that you missed. So if you want somebody who knows about looking at details, getting to the bottom of things, and he's got a very long thumb too. So I know this is a person that's got a very strong will, and that he can be very critical and analytical. And so when you're talking to a person like that, going in an interview, and you see a person with a hand like this, you get straight to the point. Why are you here? What can you bring to the table of this business, or whatever the case is? And you can't beat around the barn. You better be prepared to say bing, 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 your bullet points. Okay, next. The thumbs. The thumbs do everything that you can. You would be surprised what we do with the thumbs. And in fact, when we tie our shoes, brush our teeth, everything. But the thumb denotes your will or lack of will, and it should be as well developed. Now, this is a different shape. So if you go to the next one, Simon, I think it starts with a square tip, which means that the person, I think mine is slightly square. Everybody's got a different type of shape because everybody's not going to arrive at things the same, just like everybody's not dressed in this room the same way. Okay? So that means a person who is really, really very logical, and because he seems to have a long second phalange, which deals with the logic, and the nail part is your will. Alrighty? By the way, what is interesting is this. If any of you ever have a relative in the hospital, when a person is close to death, the thumb will begin to sink in or get closer to the body. It's almost losing the will to live. So I'm not saying the next time you'll go see somebody real don't do that. No, you also no. Yeah, come here, let me see that thumb. Okay, you got 2 days. No, you don't do that. I'm telling you though, but these are things that it observed. Now I've got to admit, when my mother passed and my father passed, I was with them both on separate years. I was so emotional I didn't even pay attention. See, because that's what will happen too. Now, if I go visit one of your relatives and they're close to the end, I'm going to look to see if the thumb is up, if the thumb is kind of sinking into the body itself. Okay? But when it's emotional, sometimes you forget all about stuff like that. The conic nail, this will be more of a conic represents people who are more creative, artistic, imaginative, leaning toward more the arts and stuff, where the square nail, the one you saw before, would be more toward the world of business and science and commerce. Okay. Now this is a spatula thumb. That means that this would be a person who would probably like outdoor life, hiking, hunting, living out in the wild, killing, you know what I'm saying, like that. Like the guy that was in the mountains for those about 2 months, he had killed all these people. He probably had a thumb like that. Yeah, probably had a thumb like that. Okay, go ahead. Now, this hand is most interesting. If you notice how big that thumb is. That thumb is almost like sitting there like a piece of meat, okay? But this is the hand of Albert Einstein, the famous scientist, all right? And, but this, now see his second phalange here, how short it is? But notice the top, the nail phalange, the will. So that means the will to carry things out. You can have a person with a long second one, which means they got the logic, but if the upper part is like short, that means they got the logic, but they can't quite have the will to carry it out. In this case, I would say whoever thumb this is, when they made up their mind to do something, they did. If you look, it seems like the second phalange is more. That is, the phalanges is the first, the middle, and the third. Seem like the second one to me are longest. Everybody's got their difference of opinion. Okay, next. Now this one is called the murderer's thumb. You will know this. No, the reason why it was called the murderer's thumb is when they did research, most of the people that did violent murders where they got ticked off, they snapped out of it and the person was on the floor dead. They found that most people arrested had a thumb like that, the murdering stuff. It's real bogus. Believe me, you can't miss it. So I've had several clients like that. But here's what I do though. Here's what I do. I tell the clients that they have to be very careful of alcohol because alcohol lowers your inhibition, okay? And that he has to be careful of putting himself where he loses his temper. Because he could do something that he will later regret and can't take back. Then my job is done. My job is
get out of there.
Then he runs.
yeah. I don't want to hear later on, well, brother, I didn't kill somebody. Because I know us. We something else.
Right.
Okay, this is New York City. It's hard up in here, okay? They talk about hard knock life somewhere else. This is the hand of Amelia Earhart. And she had some lines. I'm going to be talking about her lines later. But she has a very long thumb, as you see. Now, notice, she has a long second phalange. The second one is the longest. That means the logic. Then she's got the will too, but she left in a critical site. But these are another thing. Next hand. Now, that's a large thumb. See how large it is?
Like a finger.
Yeah. So I know that this person, whoever you're looking at, will be very determined to carry out his or her goals. It wouldn't just be talk with them. It wouldn't be conversation. If it's a small finger, let's see next, Simon. Like that. See, that's small thumb. Compared to the hand. Now, their intentions are there, but they may not have the logic or the will to carry those things out. You see, so that's why some people, when they're talking to you, really mean it. So that's why I'm saying you got to pay attention. And I like this lady here in the front row with the tan. She can say, you're smart. She said, look at you, let me see. All right, next line, next hand. Now that's a high set thumb. The thumb should be, it's almost like kind of up there. That's kind of like a clingy thumb. And then I want the next one, Simon, do that one because that's a low set thumb. See how low it sits down? And then I have another one that sits even lower. The next one, Simon.
What?
See how that sits? Yes.
That's two thumbs.
See how you begin to pay attention to things that you take for granted.
Used to be the key.
And that's what I'm saying. Boy, people gonna be scared of you and yours. Look at their hands, okay? Yeah, but notice how low it sits. That's abnormal.
Yeah.
All right, you got long fingers. They're kind of slender. I don't see any bulges. He looks like he's got a middle second phalange, which means he's more practical and whatnot. So next. That he has, it's almost as if he has no control of his thumbs at all. It's like a piece of flesh. And what that tells me is he would always be subject to the whims and the ways of other people. He may want to determine his life, but he's always going to go which way the wind is blowing. See, so fortunately, none of y'all up in here, I done checked all your fingers and hands. I see nothing like that. And I say, come here, I need to talk to you. Now the lines in the hands. Now, and you see, what I try to do is get you to look at how you can tell things, even just on the subway, looking at the person across from you, the nails, the length of the fingers, the development of the thumbs. But now you can go into looking at those lines I told you about. The lifeline that runs around the ball of the thumb, the headline that's in the center, and the heart line that's right underneath the fingers. Next line. Next line. Okay. See now, there's the lifeline going around, and then the headline is in the center. Now there's a rule, when the headline is going kind of straight in a slight diagonal, it means business. When it's curving, like in mine in this hand, it means leaning toward the arts and whatnot. Next hand. Now, see how hers is straight and it's very long. Normally the headline will end under your third finger. Hers ends under her fourth finger. And because it's very business, that means whoever you're dealing with, this is definitely a business-minded person. That assignment. Okay, and this is another one. Now notice how this one, the headline curves down.
Can you say the last one again?
What's that?
The last one before?
Okay,
Before that.
oh, because the line was just the next one just before that. The line just before that.
That one?
Go ahead, you're closest behind this one.
Okay.
It's only 5 seconds.
That one?
That's it. See, it's slightly sloping, but it's not curving. All right, so that tells me a business temperament. Because again, the hand is not really, the way the hand is structured, the lines kind of lean. So if you look at the next picture, you can see the difference. And you see how it's sloped? So that tells me that person has a more leaning toward the creative side of life. Artist, a painter, a musician, a dancer, whatever the case is. All right? And this one slopes even more so. And that line that's going up the center is called the fate line that denotes your worldly activities. And it stopped about the 50th birthday. The headline is always age 35. Okay? The heart line is about 50, 55, somewhere around there. So that can tell you certain changes that will take place. In her case, just before her 50th birthday. Okay? Go ahead. Now now then you have some people whose lines are very strong. I read 2 Asian women this morning, and I could barely see their lines. I noticed with us African Americans, our lines are very strong and very distinct. I ain't gotta be doing all that. I've noticed with white people, personal. In the case of looking at the Asians I saw today, their lines was faded. It's almost like I had to take the lady and walk her by the window to look in the sunlight to see. You know what I'm saying? How the lines are really going. They were there, but they don't stand out like ours do. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Next. Now see how that curves? That tells me that person has leaning toward the artistic side. And then with the fingers being slim, which means impulsive, intuitive, that tells me that's where they would find their happiness. Now, they may say, well, Lloyd, I work as an accountant all day, but when they go home, they crochet, they paint, they draw, they're into their music, you know what I'm saying? Like that. Okay, go ahead. Next, Simon. Now, this is a person with 2 headlines. Okay? Now, normally as a rule, the line should be, if you look in this hand, my headline is attached to my lifeline. Okay? Normally, ideally, they should be slightly separated between the headline. There should be a distinction. Here, hers is widely separated, so that means there's almost like, she come out the woman, you can't tell her anything. Seriously. And sometimes that's not too good either. Okay? Where you think you know everything for yourself. But at the same time, she's got a small lifeline that's right there. Right here, Simon.
Okay,
right there. She actually has 2 headlines. And because when the headline is tied down, it means the person is very sensitive in the beginning. And as the headline and the lifeline begins to separate itself, it will tell you at the age in which she became more mentally independent. Okay? See you looking at that hand too, girl. Okay. Next. That's the left hand of the person. Notice in this one, she only had 1 headline, but in her right hand, which is the one you really look at, she has 2 headlines, a strong one and then a mild one. Next one. Now, this person here has their lines down there. Now, by the way, normally the heart line should start between these 2 fingers, as a rule. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you'll see the headline start over here. This is the dictator finger. And that means sometimes the person will get into a relationship and will begin to dictate terms. So if I see this marking in a woman's hands, I'll remind her that she has to be careful of not giving the appearance that she's dominating this situation, that there's 2 people up in here. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is there's nothing I haven't seen in a hand that you can't advise a person if they want to listen. But everybody think they know everything. That's why they say you need to learn the easy way, where most of us, for some reason, want to learn the hard way. I don't get it. Myself. Me. Now, this person here, this is kind of weird. Like if you notice, that first of all, the fingers are long, they're slim. So I know whoever this, they got a great thumb. The thumb is well developed, but if you look at the fingers, they're nice and slim, they're long. So that tells me this is a very detailed person in front of me, alrighty? And because their hard line is kind of going under the mount of Jupiter, when it should be between the lines of Jupiter and Saturn, that would indicate that they would also be very dictatorial or controlling to their loved ones, particularly if they're a water sign, because water moves emotions. And the headline is dipping down, which means they make an excellent artist. That's the line that's going down that you had right there, exactly. Next one. Okay, now, this is what I'm talking about. See how straight that headline is, the hard line? That's the one that's underneath the fingers. It should curve a little bit, ideally. But when it goes straight, and had it gone even further over into the mount of Jupiter, that tells me she would have been very, very dictatorial. Or he would be very, very dictatorial with stuff like that. Next, Simon. Okay, and this is the hand. In fact, I'll show you the next one too, Simon. Now this is a hand of a 3-year-old, exactly. That's the left hand. And then the next hand you'll see, Simon, when you click it, will be that hand 20 years later. Totally different. See, the lines have gotten longer. Because you evolve. When you're dealing with infants, they're not born yet. They have no idea. They're clumsy in handling things. But as we get skilled, we are very artful, and we don't even think about it. We just grab something. And some people are more expressive with their hands, some people are not. I've always been expressive with my hands for some reason. Next, Simon. Now that's the right hand when he was 4 years old. This is my son, by the way. And this is, and the next one, Simon, you'll see that this is his hand 20 years later. How it's evolved. It's still slender, which means he's still got to do some thinking, okay? It's okay, he's got nice thumbs, all right? Okay, next, Simon. Minister Malcolm X's hand. Notice how well developed his thumb is, okay? Well logic. His fingers, it's not short, and they're kind of in the long part. And he's got a strong straight line. The headline is in the center coming straight. So dealing in the arts was not his thing in that sense as being a business. Next hand. Now this is a hand of Martin Luther King. Now see, he had a short first finger. Normally, when a person has a long first finger, that means they want to lead. When they have a short one, that means it's almost as if he was kind of thrown into it, because he really didn't want to do this no way. When you read his history, but circumstances, but he's a Capricorn, and that's a sign that has the meaning of faith and destiny. He might say, you know what, I want to stay here with Coretta, me and her, the kids. I really don't feel like doing this. And there are probably times he didn't either. Okay, but that gives an example both of his right and left hand. There should always be changes in both hands. Okay, and let's do another one. And that there you can see more of his lines, and you can see how well developed his thumb is, and how long his fingers are. He's got long fingers, so he's a very detailed person. I'm telling you, you can learn a lot without not talking to a soul. And this was his saying: I can make the world with my own 2 hands, make a better place with my own 2 hands, and make a kinder place with my own 2 hands. All right, but that's got both. I know. Go ahead. This is David Patterson's hand, the first and only African-American governor of New York. Notice how long his thumb is. See what I'm saying? But his logic is longer than his will. Okay? And his first finger and third finger are about the same size. These are powerful fingers. This is Jupiter, this is the sun. All right, so they're almost equal in length. That's his heart line going down. That's his headline, straight across for business. All right? Go ahead, next. Now this is Mario Cuomo, the governor now of New York City. But I want to show the other hand. The next one. Look at his hand. You don't have 3 lines. He only got 2.
Wow.
He's only got 2.
Wow.
The headline and the hard line merge as one.
Wow.
That's exactly what it's called. It's called a simian mind. All right? It means that, let's say he saw a young lady coming out of a store. And when he zeroed in with all the powers of it. In other words, there's no distinction between the emotion and the mind. It's all is one. The mind acts with the emotions, and the emotions drive the mind. So there's no distinction. So sometimes like that can go overboard. I got another picture like that too. And that's Hillary, of course, because they got her up running for. And in 2016, she has a good possibility.